Hi everyone, and welcome again to my audiovisual channel. My name is Gabriela Handal if you're new, and I'm a draftsman, and today I'm talking to you about the 12th and last of Denis Dutton's cluster criteria for art. I'm going to read the corresponding excerpt and then I will muse about it a little bit. If you'd like to support my audiovisual channel, you can do so by liking and sharing this video, and also by subscribing. These are all immediate and at no additional cost to you. If you'd like to support what I do with money, it's also very welcome and appreciated. You can do so by purchasing my drawings directly from my website, which is gabrielahandal.com, just one word. You can purchase crafts I make from eBay, you can buy prints of my drawings, or you can leave me a tip. The links for all these things will be in the caption. Thank you for your time and attention, and let's read this very last criteria. And let's review the criteria first, as we have done before. The first criteria is direct pleasure. Number 1 is direct pleasure. Number 2, skill and virtuosity. Number 3, style. Number 4, novelty and creativity. Number 5, criticism. Number 6, representation. Number 7, special focus. Number 8, expressive individuality. Number 9, emotional saturation. Number 10, intellectual challenge. Number 11, art traditions and institutions. Number 12, imaginative experience. And number 12 is the one that we're going to read and talk about today. So just to reiterate, I don't read these beforehand. I don't rehearse the reading or anything, and I don't know what I'm going to say in the video, here. Just so you know. So, quote, imaginative experience. Finally, and perhaps the most important of all characteristics on this list, objects of art essentially provide an imaginative experience for both producers and audiences. A marble carving may realistically represent an animal, but as a work of sculptural art, it becomes an imaginative object. The same can be said of any story well told, whether mythology or personal history. The costumed dance by firelight, with its intense unity of purpose among the performers, possesses an imaginative element quite beyond the group exercise of factory workers. This is what Kant meant by insisting that a work of art is a presentation, in quotes, offered up to an imagination that appreciates it irrespective of the existence of a represented object. For Kant, works of art are imaginative objects subject to disinterested contemplation. All art, in this way, happens in a make-believe world. This applies to non-imitative abstract art as much as to representational arts. Artistic experience takes place in the theater of the imagination. In parenthesis, at the mundane level, imagination in problem-solving, planning, hypothesizing, inferring the mental states of others, or merely in daydreaming is virtually coextensive with normal human conscious life. Trying to understand what life was like in ancient Rome is an imaginative act, but so is recalling that I left my car keys in the kitchen. However, the experience of art is notably marked by the manner in which it decouples imagination from practical concern, freeing it, as Kant instructed, from the constraints of logic and rational understanding. End parenthesis, and also end quote. I wonder why he says this is the most important one. Maybe it's something that I take for granted about art. Maybe I don't fully understand what he means. And I wonder if it's applicable to something like photography, because photography can be argued more directly reproduces that which it's depicting. It's not the same necessarily as a person depicting a landscape or another person, sort of. It's kind of more filtered in a way. It's going through the filter of the human that's in the act of making the drawing or the painting. Because, you have to look at it, you have to kind of make it go through your brain, and then it comes out of your hand, sort of, Not even your hand, it comes out of your hand through the pencil. So I guess there's some of that in photography, because it has to go through the little body of the camera in a way. I guess it's more obvious to me with like storytelling, because if you're reading a book or if you're being told a story, like even if it's real, if it's something that happened to someone else and they're like, oh my god, this happened to me, the listener still has to imagine the imagery in their head. And I wonder in that case if imagine and image has something to do there. Yes, maybe it does. Imagine the image? Not sure. Okay, so then, quote, this is what Kant meant by insisting that a work of art is a presentation, in quotes, offered up to an imagination that appreciates it, irrespective of the existence of a represented object. Is irrespective a word? Whatever. I guess, in a way, even if we're drawing or painting from life, I mean, it's obviously not the same as that which is being depicted. So if I make a landscape, if I paint a mountain, it's the image that I have on my paper is not the mountain. The mountain is like the one that I'm looking at. That's like the mountain. And the one on my canvas or my paper is the imagined mountain, I guess. I think that sounds more like, kind of like what he's talking about, but I still don't understand why he thinks this characteristic is the most important one. Maybe because it's the unifying aspect of art, because it unifies not just every viewer, whether a viewer may or not care about looking at art, it's like they can still look at it and maybe even appreciate the work, but then it also unifies the makers of the work with the viewers of the work, and maybe that's why. And I have definitely mentioned before how much I enjoy the recently discovered unifying aspect of art. Recently discovered by me. Unifying aspect of art to this day, because all human groups have done it. Any human group that you can think of has done it, and in the present, every human group does it. So I think that's really cool. I think that's a really cool unifying aspect of art in the sense that every human has that in common. Every human on Earth has that in common. So maybe the contemplative aspect of art, where one is looking at it, at the work of art, maybe that's the imaginative experience. And that is also what is shared among all humans. And he also says, artistic experience takes place in the theater of the imagination. I guess that must be because one is kind of processing, like the appreciation or the contemplation of a work of art happens within the person, in not just necessarily in the brain and everything, but maybe in the brain. Anyway, the thing is that I guess that happens within the individual. Okay, I can see that. I don't think it's possible to experience things outside of your body. Or at least I am not sure that I agree with that idea. But he hasn't said that. Imagination, I guess, is just within one's own mind. Okay. I was musing about the idea of making like a conclusion sort of video recording. So basically a 13th one in a sense. But I'm not sure I'm gonna do that. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'd like to talk about other things, art and otherwise, or mostly art for sure, but other things too. I might make a video at some point in which I maybe pick my favorite ones of these criteria, or the ones that ring most true. Because, yeah, some of them, I guess, are a little bit weird for me. I don't remember which ones right now. But anyway, I think I'm going to leave it at that. You know, if you have any thoughts on this particular criteria, imaginative experience, tell me what you think about it. And tell me if you think that I'm getting it wrong. But if you think that I'm getting it wrong, I want to know why. And, you know, correct me, basically, with whatever you think is wrong about what I mused about just now. And, also, tell me which one of the criterias is your favorite, if you remember at this point. And, thank you very much for your time, and for watching all of these videos, whether you did it all in one sitting or not, or if you watched them as I released them. Thank you very much for watching, and remember to subscribe to my audiovisual channel. If you want me to talk about any other art-related subjects, also let me know. Any video ideas that you might have, and I might end up doing it. Yes, so, well, thank you very much for your time, and have a fantastic day.